What's up, everybody? My name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo Albiceleste.com, and welcome. It's the live discussion, and we've been planning this for a while. Unfortunately, we don't have the greatest of news to talk about, to discuss tonight or today or wherever you are, wherever you're joining us, whether you're with us live or watching us on repeat. In case you guys missed it, Giovani Lo Celso is injured, and his spot at the World Cup is actually in jeopardy. Lo Celso might not make it to the World Cup. So that's what we're going to be talking about today or tonight or this afternoon. We're going to talk about Lo Celso, what he brings to the team, and who could potentially or possibly replace him in the team or in the starting 11. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But as we always do with these live videos, with these live discussions, let me know where you are watching from. We get people from all around the world, and it makes it so much more interesting. So let me know, everybody, where you are based. If you're based in North America, what country, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, if you're in Australia, New Zealand, let me know. I see a couple of people in the chat already. We get some comments here all about Lo Celso tonight or today. Giovani Lo Celso and Lo Celso, sorry. We need you, and we absolutely do. And this comment right here: losing Lo Celso is truly a blow to the team. Very sad news. It absolutely is. So let's get into seeing where everybody's from. We have Agrim from India, currently in the United Kingdom. George in New York City. NYC, Barrington in Jamaica. And Rian from Nepal. So already a little bit different continents, different countries. From Baltimore, Maryland. All right, Nani from Baltimore, Maryland. Paro Miguel, all the way from Nigeria. Big ups to you, Paro Miguel. And Simplistic QT from USA, from the United States. There you are. And hey, look at this one. An Indian from Ireland. Look at that. An Indian from Ireland. On the name of God, Lo Celso makes it into the World Cup squad with the best fitness. Fingers crossed, buddy. Fingers crossed. And thank you for joining us. Dallas, Texas. So we got a couple of people, New York, Baltimore, Dallas, a couple from the United Kingdom, Ireland as well, and Nepal and Nigeria and everywhere, right? Another one, and Julian from Buenos Aires, Julian Dominguez, bienvenido, amigo. Kwang, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Kwang, all the way from the United States. All right, so I'm presently based in Canada, although I was recently on vacation, and that's why a little bit, the videos were few and far between last month. And Mauritania, Saidu Khan or Kane, all the way from Mauritania. So welcome. And Kerala. Kerala, there you are. All right. Perfect. So a little bit all over the place. North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, everywhere. Awante Kerala, there you are. Yes. And Vigyan from Nepal. So as I mentioned at the start of this live discussion of this show, we have Lo Celso. Lo Celso, the big news here. Giovani Lo Celso might not make the World Cup. News breaking. He was substituted out for Villarreal over on the weekend. It appeared to be a hamstring injury, a leg injury. Initially, it was about 3 weeks at worst, kind of 3 weeks. He would miss the game against Saudi Arabia, Argentina's opening match at the World Cup. And news just started to break on Tuesday that it might not be the case. Lo Celso might require surgery. So there's one more test apparently that will be done on Lo Celso. One more test to determine, is he going to need surgery or not? And it's going to determine as well, kind of the severity of his injury. So if he does require surgery, he would be out for 8 weeks, so 2 months, and that's pretty much the year gone for him. And more significantly, that's the World Cup gone for him. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let's go back to the chat. We got a couple of more people here that joined us. Good evening from Tamil Nadu, and Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that. Sorry to hear that. Broke my TV after hearing the news today. Not great news. Not great news. But let's talk a little bit about Lo Celso, and what do you guys think he brings to the team? Because I think he brings an enormous amount of things to the team, enormous amount of qualities. What is your favorite thing about Lo Celso? Let me know in the chat. What's your favorite thing? Is it his vision? Is it his passing? Is it his dribbling? Is it his intelligence? Is it the fact that he's able to link up with Messi? He does open up that space and allows Messi to play further up the pitch, closer to goal. Is it his chemistry alongside Paredes and De Paul? What is it? There's certainly a lot to like and love about Giovani Lo Celso. So let me know in the chat, what is your favorite thing about Lo Celso? Because he's very important to the team, right? Lo Celso was there in the first match of Scaloni's tenure as coach, the 3-0 win against Guatemala. I can't quite remember if he scored. I believe he did, but I'm not quite sure. I remember Pity Martinez and Giovanni Simeone scoring in that match. I can't remember if Lo Celso got the third. But he's been there from the very beginning, was there in 2019 at the Copa America, 2021, Finalissima. So he's been with Argentina from the very start, and obviously was there in 2018 as well at the World Cup. So he's been there from the very, very start. And let's get to the chat, and let's start things off. Julian Dominguez, the replacement probably will be McAllister or Papu Gomez. The media says 8 weeks to Lo Celso, really hard, but he is out. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about his potential replacements. Is it McAllister? Is it Papu Gomez? I saw some people on Twitter saying maybe Enzo Fernandez. For me, they're kind of different players. Lo Celso and Enzo a little bit different, not too similar. But we are going to talk about about who could potentially replace him. So thank you for that, Julian. Joel Garias, he's the second creator on the team besides Messi. He's a huge part of the midfield. He absolutely is. For me, just to kind of add a little bit to that, and I tweeted this out today, I said, every single match we always talk about Paredes and De Paul, and rightfully so, because they do very well. Lo Celso is, he kind of keeps that midfield together, in my opinion. He does everything great. And he's always flying under the radar. He's very, very much underappreciated, in my opinion, when it comes to that midfield trio. Maybe he's not as flashy as Paredes. Maybe he doesn't, he's not as imposing on the pitch as De Paul, but he's certainly intelligent. He's a two-way player. Defensively, his work defensively in midfield cannot be underrated. But hey, enough about me. Let's get to the comments. So Nani writes his chemistry with Messi, his chemistry with Messi and overall intelligence of passing. George, he plays his part. Solid passing. Yes, very, very solid passing. Thank you for that. Sorab, it's a big loss. He doesn't make it to the World Cup. He's another good playmaker. He is. He's a very, very good playmaker. And we're seeing more and more in regards to the creativity. This comment right here, if it's Gio Lo Celso's creativity, he takes some pressure off of Messi. And, that's something that we spoke about for years, right? Everything's coming through Messi, and we want him to score the goals, and we need someone to help Messi out. And finally, we got that. We have that in Lo Celso. And when Lo Celso's on the pitch, it allows Messi, like I said, to play closer to goal. Agrim writes, Giovani Lo Celso is a good player. There are certain aspects of his game, such as building up the play with the fullbacks, Lautaro and Messi. Another one, some very, very good arguments and comments. By the way, if it's your first time pulling up, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We have a lot of content, a lot of stuff coming up. And if it's not your first time, hey, you're more than welcome as always. Thank you guys for joining me. If you're new or not, thank you for joining. This is a family. It's the Mundo Albiceleste family, and it's a World Cup season, and we are discussing Giovani Lo Celso. Spinning Gary writes, creativity and vision foremost. He embodies what it means to be a midfielder with his composure. He's a very, he's one of those midfielders for me, and I completely agree, by the way. But he's one of those midfielders for me that if you look at, those score apps or those football apps, and you see, oh, well, Lo Celso did, 0 goals or 0 assists or 0 goals and 1 assist, you might think, yeah, not a very good midfielder, not a very good game. But in actuality, he was probably the man of the match. And Lo Celso's, he's, like I said, the type of player that you cannot really judge based on stats. You can't base his performance off of numbers. You have to watch him to enjoy him. So thank you for that, Spinning Gary, as well. Moving on to Simplistic, his vision and chemistry with Messi is insane. We talk about Paredes and Depay's chemistry with Messi, and especially off the pitch, but on the pitch, you'll be hard pressed to find an Argentine that really has the chemistry with Messi that Lo Celso does. So let's continue. There's a lot of them. We'll get through them. Barrington, Lo Celso's link-up play with the team. Very good box-to-box midfielder. And that's something that I think we're going to miss, no matter his replacement. We're going to talk about his replacement, but the fact that he's a solid box-to-box midfielder is someone that, it's going to be hard to replace. Calvin, welcome, Calvin. Thank you for joining. Didn't miss anything. We're just discussing Lo Celso. If you guys missed us or just joining, essentially, he might require surgery. We don't know. We will probably know on Wednesday. There's about one more test to be done for him to see if he requires surgery or not. If he does require surgery, that's the end of the World Cup for him, 8 weeks out. If he doesn't, who knows the extent? We'll see. Paulo Miguel, GLC equals creativity and work rate. Absolutely. Rian links up with Messi and his intelligence as well. Sports Planet, line-breaking pass. I tweeted about this earlier today. His pass over to Messi for Lautaro Martinez's goal against Colombia in the semifinals of the Copa America. Lo Celso's pass to Messi. Wow, what a pass. And that goal does not happen without that pass, because he's sliced through that Colombian back line and that midfield with that pass over to Messi. So Lea Valdez writes, apart from being one of their main creative players, Lo Celso is unbelievably progressive with the ball, and that helps Messi to avoid dropping deep. Very well said. Absolutely love that comment. Thank you so much. Yes, very, very well said. All right, let's continue. So Calvin, no, it's not confirmed. Not confirmed yet, although unfortunately it's becoming more and more likely that he does end up missing it. So Ahmed Faisal writes, we are going to miss how he controls the midfield, moving the ball forward, and the progressive passes he makes. Yeah, Lo Celso's not someone that's going to make those diagonal passes or those backwards passes. Continuously looks forward, and for someone that's not really physically imposing, he takes a lot of tackles whenever he's dribbling forward or making that pass forward. He gets tackled a lot, and he takes the kicks. All right, Kwang writes, his chemistry with Messi is his best attribute, but it is what it is. The squad must stay positive, and we must stay positive as well. So thank you for that. Yes, very well said. Rashan writes, he's the backbone. Yes, he is the backbone. All right, George, no matter who gets called up to the Scaloneta, they will fulfill their responsibility. That's what this whole generation is about. Yes, and I want to talk about that in just a little bit, in terms of what happens when one of our boys is not there. What happens? Well, we've seen what happened in the past. Someone steps up. All right. Yes, Paulo Miguel, hit that like button, guys, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And Calvin, thank you for that as well. Yes, thank you, guys. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Hit the like button. So family, we got a lot of stuff coming up. Like I said, we're going to have a lot of live discussions, a lot of original content coming up. I don't want to give too much away. I do have a list. I have some stuff pre-recorded and some stuff recorded. I'm going to be releasing in the next week and weeks up until the World Cup and even after the World Cup. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. You don't want to miss it. Yes, all right. So let's get to this one. So really interesting fact, Copa America 2021 month. So June and July fell on the same dates in Argentina. 2022 World Cup months, November, December are falling on the same date. Result, if you know what I mean. I believe you're talking about the start date and end date. I'm not quite sure I follow this. You might need to elaborate on this. Maybe on the fly, I might need to think about it a little bit. But let's continue. Spinning Gary. Mentality of the team going to the World Cup is what champions are made of. They still have what it takes to win it. Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. And Clarison, subscribe, guys, if you haven't already, boys and girls. All right. So, yes, so a lot of, if you guys don't know Gio Lo Celso, you might know Gio Lo Celso after reading all these comments and after everybody's contributions here. So, in my opinion, like I said, he keeps that midfield together, opens up Messi, gets him to play more freely, closer to goal, to get the goals, gets the assists as well. And, the thing about Lo Celso is he has had those injuries in the past couple of months, and I'll say even well over a year now, back when he was at Tottenham, and we've seen what he can do, right? His talent is that's unquestioned. We're not questioning his talent. It's really now his fitness. And I'd like to think, and I think he does, but I would like to think that Scaloni has already a sort of backup in mind for if Lo Celso cannot go, right? And what I mean by that is we know that if Paredes, for whatever reason, cannot play a game, more often than not, his substitute or his replacement has been Guido Rodriguez, right? Now, it might be someone else. It might be Enzo Fernandez, or it might be Alexis McAllister. Although, last time around, when Lo Celso was not there, Alexis McAllister was his replacement. So I would like to think that Scaloni has some sort of replacement or someone or something in mind for, if ever Lo Celso is not there. And right now, this is becoming increasingly more likely, right? Increasingly more likely. And that leads me to my next question. And Calvin kind of wrote that out for me, but who would be your replacement in that position? And I'm going to throw that out to everybody. So let's say Lo Celso cannot play a game. Let's say he makes it to the World Cup. For whatever reason, there's a game, he's suspended. He doesn't start, cannot start. Who would you play in that midfield, right? It would be Leandro Paredes, Rodrigo De Paul, and who else? Who would be your third choice midfielder to play alongside Paredes and De Paul? So let me know in the comment section, and we'll go through that. I already have my answer, but let's get to what everybody else thinks here. So let's get to Agrim, Thiago Almada, or Enzo Fernandez. Thiago is one that's slowly getting that momentum going. Had a great showing in September for Argentina when he made his debut. Great feedback from Messi. Great chemistry with Messi on the pitch as well. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of Almada, especially after the World Cup. So Almada and Enzo Fernandez. Let's see. I have a feeling we're going to get. I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of different comments here. So Papu Gomez for Leia. Daver, I'm going to try and pronounce this properly. Danvers FN writes Papu. Excellent. Let's continue. Oh, Enzo or Alexis McAllister. And those two that you just mentioned are probably the most informed midfielders right now for Argentina. Enzo Fernandez for Benfica and Alexis McAllister for Brighton are the two most informed midfielders for the national team. Now, we've seen Alexis start in place of Lo Celso in the last two qualifiers against Venezuela and against Ecuador. We've seen what Enzo Fernandez can do in the last tour of the United States in September. So some good shouts there. Papu, maybe another one for Papu, and we're going to get some more for Papu. I get the feeling. Here we go. So another one for Papu Gomez and Enzo or Papu. We're going to get more and more Papu Gomez. I could feel it. Papu, Enzo, Papu. We're going to get some more Papu here. Papu for me, says Faisal. Samir writes, Enzo Fernandez, it's his time to shine. He plays pivot at Benfica, but he can play in the interior as well. Let's go, fam. Let's show the world your talent. Hey, I'm all for Enzo. I'm all for the entire Scaloneta team, the entire Argentina national team. Julian, yes, I agree. Julian writes, the last few weeks just had terrible luck, and it's not, in a way, not that it makes it any better, but it's not just Argentina. If you look at France as well, France something happened with Kimpembe, if I'm not mistaken, today in the Champions League or in training. I can't quite remember. So they might lose Kimpembe as well. They've lost Pogba. They've lost Kante. They're not doing too well as well when it comes to fitness. But yes, absolutely, we've not had the best of luck the past couple of weeks. Guru Vignesh writes, Papu starting, Thiago as sub, so Thiago Almada as a potential substitute. Sports Planet, Emiliano Buendia is a similar type of player for me with the work rate and vision, but he lacks game time and chemistry with the team. A good shout for Buendia and versatile as well. Buendia is very, very versatile and starting to play better and better with more confidence with Aston Villa. MD Alamin writes, for me, McAllister is a perfect replacement for Lo Celso in the starting 11. He's in terrific form, and he is in very good form. Julian, trust in Papu Gomez. I like that. Let's bring that up here. Trust in Papu. Shidok writes, Acuna in midfield. So, I mean, maybe if it was a five-man midfield, right, like a 3-5-2, potentially you play Acuna on the wing. I could probably see that. An interesting one here. So an option could be Enzo and Paredes as a double pivot and let Rodrigo be more free. So that's another possibility. That is certainly another possibility. I don't think we've seen that. I don't think we've seen Scaloni try that or anything similar to that. I don't believe. Although, if I'm wrong, let me know. Enzo Fernandez as well here. All right. Yes. Enzo. Okay. Now I understand it. Now I understand it. Thank you for clarifying that from earlier. Thank you. Let's continue. Depends who the opponent is, but McAllister gives you similar play style of Lo Celso. And this is an interesting comment, and I love this comment. I love every comment. Don't get me wrong, but this one here, it really depends on the opponent, I think. Now, what I mean by that is I think depending on who we play, we might get different rotations, right? If you're playing, and I mean that maybe more for the fullbacks, right? Maybe certain matches, Tagliafico might be better suited than Acuna, or vice versa. Acuna is better suited than Tagliafico. In another match, maybe Montiel in place of Molina, or Molina in place of Montiel, and then you have Juan Foyt in there as well. That's for a separate video, and we're going to talk about that in separate videos. But yes, I think it depends as well on the opponent. Very, very possible. Yes. Kwang writes, against weaker teams, maybe Papu, and against stronger opposition, Enzo or McAllister. See, I look at those three players, and they're similar and different at the same time. My vote, and I'm going to continue reading the comments, my vote to replace Lo Celso would be Papu Gomez, right? For me, it's Papu. My one concern with Papu is he doesn't offer the defensive work that Lo Celso offers, right? Lo Celso is a great two-way player, tracks back, helps defend. Might not be the best tackler, but, he'll still put one in. He'll put in the dirty work. Papu doesn't necessarily offer that. So that's my kind of one concern, so to speak, when it comes to Papu. But let's read the comments. So Paulo Miguel, Enzo can play that role. He plays a double pivot at Benfica due to the needs of the team. Yes. So Enzo plays that, but my question is, does Scaloni ever play that? I don't think Scaloni's ever really played the double pivot, at least not recently. Ahmad writes, so I'm just fixing up here my seating, but remember Papu's goal against Bolivia? We need those runs, yes. I'm guessing you're talking about the goal at the Copa America, the last group stage match. Great run by Papu. Nice build up nice link up by Angel Correa with Messi on that goal as well. But yes, I've seen some reports that Scaloni has an alternative formation with a back three. So if it's a 3-4-3, it would fit a midfield of two. That may be solution. Replace Lo Celso with a center back. Hey, it's a possibility. Who knows in a way what Scaloni is trying with the team. Although that'd be interesting to see. Thank you for sharing that. John, good morning, John, a good friend of Mundo Albiceleste, a good friend of mine. John, good morning from Malaysia. Hate what's happening to Lo Celso. I know we have Enzo and Papu, but somehow It's just not the same with Gio. I fully agree, buddy. I fully agree. Thank you for joining us, John. Jatin writes, Enzo. All right, so another vote for Enzo. Paul Codner, why not bring in Guido and push Paredes further forward? That would give Argentina more defensive solidity, and the chemistry would still be there if not Lo Celso's dribbling speed. That's certainly an idea. I can't remember, and please everybody correct me on this, but I can't remember a game that we had Guido, Paredes, and De Paul, that midfield three. Usually it's unless there was a game where Guido came on as a substitute and Paredes was there as well, but I can't remember one. I cannot remember one. All right, so let's continue here. Rian, Enzo, McAllister, or Papu, and Gorab, good morning from sunny and windy Sydney. Good morning from Sydney, Australia. Now I think we've literally covered every single content on the planet. Enzo Fernandez for Abdul Latif, Usman Tijani. Yes, let's stay positive, everybody, right? So let's get all the positivity out there. We know these boys; they are certainly fighters, and we'll see if he makes it to the World Cup and plays with some painkillers. Guru, yes, Sabella did do that a couple of times. He did alternate depending on the opponent, and unfortunately, that was because of injuries as well. But yes, he certainly did do that. Good point in regards to Lo Celso adding a bit more muscle. Thank you for that, George. Calvin, Papu, Gomez, solid option offensively. Could also be double pivot with Enzo Paredes and De Paul playing as an interior. So we're getting a lot of comments for that double pivot option. Hey, Scaloni might have a couple of days or maybe a week before the start of the World Cup with the team. I have no doubt he's going to try some stuff in training. I think he has to. I truly think he has to try something. So let's continue with this. All right. Arujnan from Tamil Nadu. Welcome. Aaron Lee, heartbroken with Lo Celso. I don't know why. I'm still very confident with this team. It doesn't rely on one individual, but works as a team. Still have faith that this team will do wonders. And that's the good thing about this team. That's the good thing about this group, is that they don't rely on one player, right? If one player doesn't make it for whatever reason, not usually, but every single time, another player comes in and does the job perfectly. So that's certainly a good one. Ricky from Jamaica, welcome. And Uruguay versus Argentina, but Guido started. Yes, Guido started that match instead of Paredes, right? Paredes started the opening match against Chile, if I'm not mistaken, and then Guido started the second in place of Paredes, right? If I'm not mistaken. All right, let's see. I certainly hope so. Simplistic. I certainly hope Lo Celso makes it. And good evening from Colorado, all the way from the Rocky Mountains. Good evening, Aaron. All the way from Albania, Samir. I think Enzo's the new kid on the block to showcase his skills. Yes, he's going to have a lot to prove, a lot to show, and he's certainly going to be a great addition. Junan Y2J, no one has a better understanding with Messi in tight areas like Lo Celso does. Go watch clips, go watch matches. Those two together, tremendous partnership. Julian Acuna is not in his best form. I would not like to see him in midfield. Papu understands Messi perfectly and could make an offensive contribution. Yeah, I'm not the biggest. I love Acuna. I absolutely love Acuna, but I'm not his biggest fan playing him in midfield. It's funny because a couple of months ago, Acuna was doing great and Tagliafico was not really starting for Ajax. Now Tagliafico is starting and playing well for Lyon. And Acuna's getting back into it with Sevilla. So he's not in great form, but he is getting there. He is certainly getting there. Calvin, do we know what the injury is? Is it a relapse? We don't necessarily know if it's a relapse. We know that Lo Celso was injured, came back, and essentially kind of like the first match back almost, got injured. We know it's a hamstring, it's foot related or leg related. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, and he is at the World Cup. All the way from Ohio, Madhav is sure that Lo Celso will be at the World Cup. I hope so. I truly, truly hope so. All right. Now we're getting some comments here on Di Maria. How's Di Maria doing? Di Maria is fine. He'll be fit for the World Cup. So Di Maria will be fit for the World Cup. That is for sure. And in regards to Cuti Romero, I know there was a question or two regarding Christian Cuti Romero. He is fine. It's just a fatigue thing. He's going to make it to the World Cup. He's just been rested by Conte for Tottenham, and in all likelihood will probably even feature against Liverpool this weekend. I believe they're playing on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. But I wouldn't worry too much about Cuti. And Di Maria is recovering very, very well. So certainly a couple of injury problems for Argentina, but the biggest one so far being Lo Celso. Let's take a look at this comment. Nani, team chemistry and togetherness is what makes them different from another team at the World Cup. I'm not scared. Flexing those muscles, Nani, I would flex mine. My muscles are not that big enough to show. But yes, certainly not. I don't think there's a single team that has that togetherness at this World Cup that Argentina has. I truly, truly don't believe. All right, let's look at more comments here. Calvin, Romero's fine. Dibu's okay. Dibu's going to play on the weekend. I believe Aston Villa's playing Manchester United. I believe. I could be wrong on that. But Dibu himself stated he's good and he's going to be ready for the next game. And as for Cuti Romero, it's just rest. He's just resting. Let's continue here. So there's a question about Alvarez, and we'll stay on the topic a little bit about Lo Celso, and we'll take some outside questions. But are you worried about the form of Alvarez? He's certainly not in the same form as he was before joining City, and once City got Haaland, I think that's to be expected. Am I worried? Look, match fitness is certainly an important factor going into a World Cup. However, Alvarez is training, in my opinion, under the best coach in the world, playing alongside some of the best players in the world. So I'm not very worried about Alvarez. Not really worried about Alvarez. And so in regards to Juan Musso, he is back from injury. He played on the weekend for Atalanta. Although latest reports, unofficial, right? The list is not out yet, but unofficial reports are that Musso will not make it to the World Cup for Argentina. But that's unofficial. That is completely unofficial. And yes, it's not worth it without the suffering at all. Joel, the final list is going to be put out on November 14th. So very important. I mentioned this in one of the videos recently, or I believe it was the last video. Argentina play the United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi on November 16. 2 days before that, November 14, Scaloni has until November 14 to release or to announce the list of players for the World Cup. So maximum or the latest is November 14, and November 16 they play in Abu Dhabi against the UAE. Let's take a look at this. There was a comment here. We'll get to it. So good morning all the way from India, 5:30 a.m. Look at that. Thank you so much. I woke up just to watch your live streaming. I can't thank you enough. Truly, truly, thank you. Hopefully we start thinking beyond Lo Celso, but I've got a gut feeling he will make it to the World Cup. I think Lady Luck will be on our side. I think test results will show on Wednesday that it's not that bad. And I think Lo Celso does make it for the World Cup. Fingers crossed he does. And love the positivity. And thank you again for everybody. And no matter what time or not, what time of day or night or evening, thank you everybody for joining. All right, in regards, Roy, with the amazing form of Licha, do you see the way he earns a Spartan? I don't. I love Licha. Lisandro Martinez, wow. With that said, I don't see him starting for Argentina ahead of Nicolas Otamendi or ahead of Cuti Romero. I think those are the two starting center backs. I think Martinez does play at the World Cup. There's bound, unfortunately, and I say this knocking on wood, there is bound to be an injury or a suspension. I have no doubt Lisandro plays for Argentina. Paolo Miguel, gotta go. I have a meeting there today. It's 1:03 over here. Need to get some sleep. Cheers, everybody. Have a good one, Paolo Miguel. Thank you for joining. Have a good night, buddy. Thank you for the continued support. For me, Ahmed, I mentioned this earlier. Papu Gomez. For me, it's gotta be Papu. He offers a lot to the team. His vision, his passing on the ball, a very good dribbler, very intelligent, links up with Messi very well, has a good eye for a goal, has experience. So for me, it has to be Papu Gomez. He gets my vote to start if Lo Celso is not there. All right, let's do this. George, could you imagine? Oh boy, yeah, the money is one thing. I don't care too much about the money when it would come to this. I don't think too many of us here would care too much about that. Expirar, is Lo Celso fully out of the World Cup? No, he's not. Lo Celso is not fully out of the World Cup. It's just, from reports coming out of Argentina, it's looking increasingly unlikely that he will be fit for the World Cup. We are probably going to know more on Wednesday. One more test to go. He might require surgery, might not. We'll know more on Wednesday. Joel, put Papu to start defensively. Does he worry you a bit since he's more of an attacking player? Very good question, Joel. Depending on the team, depending on the opposition, I think he kind of does. Against a team like Saudi Arabia, and no disrespect to them, and I'll say this very clearly, there is no easy team at a World Cup. Especially if you're Argentina, we've seen it multiple times, right? Iceland last time, Cameroon in 1990. There are no easy teams. With that said, against a team like Saudi Arabia, I might be more comfortable with Papu Gomez starting. In a knockout stage game, it depends maybe on the opponent. It depends on the form. It depends on a lot of things. Although, valid point, and like I mentioned earlier, Papu doesn't offer you the defensive stability, let's say, that maybe a Lo Celso offers you. So that's why Scaloni has to make the big decisions, right? The very, very difficult decisions that we don't have to. So let's continue with this. Yes, Lo Celso is left-footed as well. Very crucial. Very crucial. Can play a big role. Let's continue. There was a question here. I'm trying to find it. Remember, others are missing. Yes, that's another one. We spoke about France, for example. They're missing a couple of players as well. Pogba and Kante. Two big players for them. So let's continue. Good question. It's certainly a possibility. Could Lo Celso miss the group stages and make it into the knockouts? It's a possibility. Nothing is confirmed yet. We don't know if he's fully out. He might just miss the first game, might miss the first 2 games or 3 games, but nothing is confirmed just yet. Let's get to Kelvin. This team will walk through anything for each other. I would say the only thing we need to worry about is red cards or suspensions in the World Cup. Our team is aggressive and relentless. Very, very well said, Calvin. Thank you for that. Jambi, I'll go against the flow and suggest maybe we're better off without Gio. Never saw him play spectacularly for Argentina. Wow. Definitely going against the grain here, Jambi. I won't say there's one game that he was the standout player, if that's what you mean. But I think there's been several games where he's been very good for Argentina and played, that crucial pass or did something that allowed the team to get the win. But to each their own. It's a valid argument. So Jambi, who would you start in place of Lo Celso? My question to you: if no Lo Celso, who do you go with? Who do you go with, Jambi? Look at this, George, very confident. 3-0, 11-0 against Mexico, and 2-0 against Poland. Ahmed, I just opened a Giovani Lo Celso Copa completion side by side with your stream. We cannot replace him. Yeah, with Guardiola's voice, where he was talking about Sergio Aguero, saying we cannot replace him. Lo Celso is one of those players for me. Like I said, he flies under the radar when he plays for Argentina. He plays very, very well. He's a good cog, but not irreplaceable in my opinion, Jambi. All right, that's fair. That is fair. And Jamie says Enzo Fernandez. So Jamie would start Enzo in place of Lo Celso. You're not the only one. A lot of people wrote they would start Enzo Fernandez if Lo Celso could not make it. Who knows? He certainly made a very, very strong case for himself and played great for Argentina in September in the United States. So Enzo might have potentially moved up a little bit in the team when it comes to midfielders. Frost, another one for Enzo. Aaron Lee, I do not agree with Jambi. Lo Celso has been a silent warrior for us. His link up with Messi has been amazing. I think he has the most assists in the team since Scaloni took over. Wow, that's certainly a statistic. I believe he has either, 11 or 17. I don't know why. I have those two numbers standing out, either 11 or 17 assists for Lo Celso since Scaloni took over. So that is certainly something. Harry writes, Papu over Enzo. All right, Papu has chemistry with Messi, and he has experience. Yes, and sometimes nothing against Enzo, nothing against anybody, but sometimes there's no replacement for experience, or there's no substitute for experience. Another one. Why not play Lisandro as a CDM? Hey, if you're going with a 3-man back line, he's very versatile. If you want to play 5 in midfield, we know that he can't play as a defensive midfielder. So his versatility could be key for Argentina. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Ty. Did not think of that. Calvin, I understand where Jambi's coming from. There have been times where Lo Celso missed some chances or kind of fades away later on, but he gives balance to the midfield, something that goes unnoticed. Yes. My criticism, right? Because I think no player is above criticism. If I had one criticism about Lo Celso, it would be that he does miss a lot of chances in front of goal. I remember one specifically in the Finalissima against Italy, and there was another chance, I believe, in 2019 at the Copa America and one in 2021 at the Copa America. So Lo Celso does miss in front of goal. He misses sitters as well. Yes, that I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to debate. But yeah, I get what Calvin and Jambi are coming from. Love the discussion, guys. Love the discussion. So let's continue here. We had Jambi. Bring up Jambi's comment. He's missed too many goals for my liking. There you go. Yeah, just kind of spoke about that. Yeah, like I said, good cog, but not replaceable. Papu is a good shout. Yes. So we're seeing a lot of Enzo talk. Here. And in regards to Di Maria, for example, I know some questions regarding Di Maria and Dybala. Di Maria should be good for the World Cup. Dybala is still recovering. We have to wait and see on Dybala. Harry, there you go. Maybe it was that Lo Celso against Uruguay. Maybe that's the game I'm thinking about in 2021. Maybe that's the game I'm looking about. Thank you for that, Harry. You guys are the best. Like, if I forget something, if I'm not sure about something, you guys are always there to save the day. Thank you, everybody. All right, let's see. More comments here. One about Lisandro. Lisandro is probably Argentina's best backline passer. He is. I would say not probably. I think he is. I think Lisandro is Argentina's best passer, defender. I'm losing my words. Yes, I think defensively, when it comes to passing out, I don't think there's anyone better for Argentina than Lisandro. Aaron, Lee, Roy, who would you take, Papu or Enzo? Both are good moving forward offensively, but who is solid in defense between the two? Defensively, Enzo is a little bit better than Papu. Papu doesn't really offer much defensively, to be very honest. Does not offer much defensively. Offensively, he's an entirely different beast, a different animal. Who I prefer between the two, if we're talking about starting 11, maybe Papu, but it depends on the player. For me, Enzo doesn't directly replace Lo Celso. I think Papu Gomez, directly replaces Lo Celso. I don't think Enzo does. I'd love to have both on the team, though. I would absolutely love to have both on the team. Calvin, Rodrigo De Paul is so important for this team. He rarely has a bad game. What a monster. He's going to be vital here. He already is vital for Argentina. Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Jamie, much love to you, man. Much love. Great stream. Thank you. I say, man, I'm not sure. Sorry, buddy. But thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the love and support. All right. Almada would be a good option. Yeah, Thiago Almada is a good one. I don't know for Lo Celso. You see, I'm torn between Almada. A part of me wants him at the World Cup, but a part of me thinks if Almada does make it, someone has to miss out, and I don't know who would have to miss out for him. All right, let's look at this. What is your opinion on Angel Correa underused? Absolutely, I've been a big advocate for Angelito, for Angel Correa. I love the guy. I think he deserves to be in the World Cup. I think he deserves to be a substitute, like a first choice substitute for Argentina. Very versatile, very unselfish, kills himself for the team, a great in front of goal, a good passer, a good dribbler, not necessarily slow either. He's not the fastest, but he's not slow either. So he offers a lot. Big fan of Angel Correa. Jambi, all good. Glad I got it right. So everybody, I'm trying to get to as many different questions and comments as I can get to here. So kind of going a bit back and forth. I think Messi, Dibu, De Paulo, Taro, others can be replaceable. Yeah, there's certainly a lot. Lisandro can go to midfield, then Otamendi and Romero can play as center backs. Yes. Another question here. So who do you think are our toughest rivals? Because we'll meet France or Denmark round 16, Netherlands quarters, semifinals is going to be tricky. What's your say? This is a tough one. I'm going to, not because I don't want to answer this. I don't want you to misunderstand me. Not because I don't want to answer this, but we're going to do a separate video. I haven't decided yet if it's live or if I'll record it on my own, but we're going to do a separate video about Argentina's rivals at the World Cup. So keep your eyes open for that. Because this is going to be, there's a lot of solid teams, a lot of strong teams at this World Cup. All right, so let's continue. Sorry if I'm missing any of your questions, everybody. I'm trying to get to as much as possible. Let's see. And we're going to do more live streams before the start of the World Cup, so I don't want anybody to kind of worry about that. Enzo over Papu. Enzo's a great passer and can offer so much more in midfield. He's been Benfica's best player. He is. And I'm a firm believer of taking players that are in form to a tournament, especially a 7-game tournament like a World Cup. And Enzo is in the form of his life. I mentioned this earlier. Him and Alexis McAllister are the two most informed midfielders for Argentina. I think he absolutely has to be there. Nani, so happy to find your channel as an Ethiopian who lives in the U.S. and supports Argentina. It's great to have this community. Hey, Nani, thank you, buddy. Thank you for the support. Glad you could join us. And glad everybody could join us as well. And guys, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We got a lot more live streams and a lot more stuff to get to in the next couple of days and weeks and even months, even after the World Cup. We're not done. Just because the World Cup is about to start. We'll take maybe one last question, one last thing, and then we'll wrap this up. We've been going on for almost an hour. We got a lot more stuff to get to in the next video, so I want to keep this maybe more about Lo Celso, more about the midfielders, but although we've touched on absolutely a lot of stuff. Frost, there was a question from Frost here. Is Nicolas Gonzalez still going to the World Cup despite missing every big chance in the Copa? Yes, Nicolas Gonzalez will be at the World Cup. It's been a criticism of his, when it comes in front of goal, he does miss some chances, but I think he offers something that not many of our players offer. He kills himself on that left wing. Not saying no one else does. Everybody kills himself for the team, but he's such an unselfish winger, which is very difficult to find these days. And Nicolas Gonzalez, if you go watch, I believe it was Argentina against Ecuador, the last qualifying match, go watch that first half, everybody, and you'll see why Nicolas Gonzalez is in the team for Argentina and starting for Argentina in certain matches. He is a great talent. This is another one. We're gonna talk. Well, I'm not gonna do a prediction video just yet. Not not just yet. But we are gonna do a lot more in the next couple of days. Even we're gonna have a lot more content coming up, especially this week and next week and everything. Lautaro's been picking up form. Great to see. Absolutely, he's Argentina's starter. He's Argentina's number 9, and great to see him getting some goals and playing well for Inter. With that said, everybody, thank you for joining. We spoke about Lo Celso and we spoke about the midfield, and we answered some questions about the attack and the back line, and even a little bit about the goalkeepers. So thank you everybody for joining. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button. We got a lot of content. Honestly, when I say a lot, I mean a lot of content coming up that you do not want to see. A lot of it might be World Cup related, or maybe most of it's going to be World Cup related, at least until the World Cup. But after that, we got some stuff lined up. So with that said, thank you everybody for joining me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. We got everybody from all around the world. So thank you everybody. Cannot say thank you enough for the love and support you guys are showing, not only in these live streams, but the comments as well, and the videos and everything. So truly appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good one. Until next time, my name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo Albiceleste.com, and take care, everybody. Goodbye.